study here is, this is Edward Snowden, a case computer expert, we all know him, and he released the confidential government. According to many legal experts, he violated the Espionage Act of 1917, and Snowden argued that he had a moral obligation to act. He gave a justification for his whistleblowing by stating that he had a duty to inform the public as to that which is done in their name and that which is done against them. According to Snowden, the government's violation of privacy had to be exposed regardless of the legality, since more substantive issues of social action and public morality were involved here. Note the key terms, issues of social action, public morality. These are the key words, which you could mention in the case studies. Whatever words that we keep on reading in part 1, I think we should liberally use them in our case studies to justify our point, so that the examiner knows that these kind of values this person is knowing, the student is knowing, and he's quoting them again and again in the answers. Coming directly to this, few argue that he broke the law and compromised national security. Do you agree that Snowden's actions were ethically justified, even if legally prohibited? Why or why not? Make an argument by weighing the competing values in this case. Again, this is a question, the last question of GS4, which is coming from a portion of current affairs. So very current issue, because privacy as an issue is very important in the current perspective of UPSC examination in India also. We had the B.N. Sri Krishna report coming up for the data protection laws, and we are contemplating our own data protection regulations now. So this issue is very pertinent, and I built my case in this particular scenario by saying that it is ethically justified for Edward Snowden for having taken that issue up. Because when he took up that issue about 3 years ago or 4 years ago, even before, he was the person who came out with the confidential documents and revealed it to the world that United States of America was putting a very close eye on what you are doing on a daily basis, and that it can impact international relations also. So I feel that it was, it was good, it's ethically justified, because the issues that Snowden raised in those times are very pertinent right now. In this particular case, I also tried, since it's given, make an argument by weighing the competing values in the case. So the competing values in this case were, first was that privacy had to be protected of an individual, and it is actually in contrast with the confidentiality. And the legal procedures. So he did not take legal procedures, but he whistleblowed. Whistleblowers Act is also there in India. So I felt that I should also use that keyword whistleblowing, and then I built up my argument that it is ethically justified. In the present scenario of digitization, it's important that the privacy of a person is also conserved. And since I was just reminded of the Right to Information Act wala question, which is there in this particular paper, that how it redefines the idea of accountability, I used it, that the right to information, the right to know what's happening inside with the particular information that the government is having, it is important that we know about what it is being happening. And that is why in this regard, Snowden's action was ethically justified even when legally prohibited. And I was also reminded of a particular issue where legal prohibition is there, but something is ethically justified. I was also reminded of women's issues of Sabarimala. Now this has changed, the Supreme Court judgment has come up, but in cases of triple talaq, etc., which was legally prohibited, kind of a case you can build up here, one sentence, that how in India this particular contrast between ethical justification and legal prohibition exists. I was also reminded of the case of the LGBTQI community, where earlier the 377, it was legally prohibited, all of those activities, and those people were prosecuted, but how it was ethically justified for the society to help them out. So I built a case not only on privacy, not only on digitization, but I tried to also bring in this particular contrast between ethical justification and legal prohibition.